February 2022, and all the happy faces that you see here are the happiness or the happy faces before the actual competition finale presentation. So we have Deepan and Sandeep as a team. Then we have Anandita and Mahati as a team, and each team has got their own supporters in Rahul and Mukund. I will not tell who is supporting whom, and I and Balaji are here to roll back the years and learn from all of you. So welcome everyone, and uh, the context of this contest the context of this contest is applying HTSM heuristic test strategy model to Trello APIs. It was vague. The mission statement was like vague. Let's see what the teams have done so far and what is their approach. Because there are only two teams as of now, and we still have 5 minutes left to close the gates before we stop letting anyone in. Let's see, we can give each team 10 to 12 minutes to present their approach and whatever they have for this exercise. So, all the best, team members, and we are super excited to learn from you. So, all yours. So, we'll have Deepan first.
Yeah, sure, Ajay. So, hi everyone. So myself Deepan, and before starting, like I would like to give a brief about HTSM, quick introduction, and then I'll be walking you through how I approached it and how I applied the HTSM to the Trello API. So HTSM stands for Heuristic Test Strategy Model. So it is designed by James Buck, and the latest version was updated in 2021. And the HTSM is very useful for all kind of testers, and it will be helpful to uh, you know uh, do a better test design for any application under test. So the so this is a short intro about HTSM, and there are three main categories in it.
You
So one
want
is
to share your screen?
yeah.
Like
So
people, it will help people.
okay. Yeah. So hope you all can see my screen. Yeah. So I'll use this document itself to present. So it consists of three main categories. One is project environment, product elements, and quality criteria. And so a project environment is nothing but the context factor that includes the project. So what is mainly included in the testing constraints, like uh, you know like uh, when we say testing, like who are all participating and what kind of tools and techniques we are going to follow, and other things will come under project environment. And the product element, so it comes under what kind of testing we are going to cover, like functional, security, performance, and other things. So I can explain in detail how I applied those things in the Trello API. And the quality criteria, it's a dimension where we focused on the product, and what are all the kinds of risk involved in it, and those areas, right? So this is a brief intro about HTSM, and so how we applied in Trello API. So initially, myself and Sandeep joined together to take this task, and we selected board API, and we also shared our responsibilities. So initially, we discussed about the task given by Ajay, and so we started analyzing the task, and we come up with few questions about the task, and also how we can approach it, what kind of APIs or endpoints we can take, and we shared the activities among us. So so I took the list API, so list on a board. So I took two endpoints. One is the list. I mean, create a list on a board and then retrieve the list. So
So
these two.
sorry
Yes.
to cut you off. We are still seeing the HTSM PDF. Yeah,
Oh, sorry. I just opened it.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. Uh, so I have applied HTSM for two endpoints. One is creating list on a board, and the other one is to get the list in a board. So these are all the two API I explored. And so after we done some analysis, so I started exploring the API and gone through the help guide of Trello API. Trello product, and understood what is the purpose of the product. And then I started exploring what are all the APIs available in the board. I mean, what are all the endpoints available in the board API, and then started working on it. So this document is prepared based on the list APIs. So first of all, I divided these sections into. I mean, I divided into different categories. So project environment, product element, and quality criteria. So in each category, I try to apply the reading the what I learned from the exploration basically. So I understood the mission. So the mission is to explore the Trello API and apply HTSM to it. And I gathered few information like uh, what are which will be helpful for me to test the Trello API. So I found their API documentation, and though if I have any questions related to the task or any endpoints to pick up, so I can ask Ajay. And then I also found their board where they log all their bugs. So I can if there is any, if I want to refer any bugs, so I can refer to it. And I also find help guide to understand about the product, how to different terms and terminologies they used inside their product. So that I have done. And developer relationship, so it's not applicable in this case. And testing team, yeah, so myself and Sandeep. And test equipment, so we use two main tools to test this. So one is Postman version 9.14.5 and curl 7.79.1 for Windows. And schedule, yeah, so we don't have specific schedule, so I just marked it as not applicable. So test items, so test items is board API. So I have linked to link this to the API documentation. And the last thing in project environment is deliverables. So in this specific scope, our deliverable is to apply HTSM on board API and prepare a document out of it, right? And these are all the project elements. And in product elements, yep. So we have structure. Inside structure, we have multiple items. So one is code. So do we have any kind of code samples, or do we have access to the code? So we don't have any access to the code, but still, they have given some code samples to apply. So which is there in the documentation, which we need to consider. So that I have taken a note. And then hardware, so we don't have any access to the hardware. And services, kind of scheduler and other services running in parallel, so we don't have access to it. Non-executable files, so which is nothing but the documentation and help guide, so we have access to that. And collateral, like so for now, what we have identified is like so the Trello API will be behave, I mean has some different pricing category. So each pricing category has its own features and uh, yeah, basically own features and functions. So we just took took the different pricing into the collateral. And when come to function, so first one is multi-user and social. Yeah, so Trello also have an option to share their board and list to the different users, so they can invite peoples to collaborate and work on a board. So we can so multi-user can access the board, multi-user can access the list at the same time. So I have just added those information to it. So list can be shared by the users. So list can be accessible, accessed by multiple users in parallel. They can update, they can comment it. And yeah, so that's it. And when come to calculation, like is there it's any limit, like how many lists we own, and number of tasks in each list. So task is nothing but the cards actually. So when it comes to Trello terminology, so it's cards. I just mentioned task. And time related. So a validity of the list, is there is any validity, and when the list is created, mod or updated, and the response time of the API. So how quick it's responding, and yeah, so that's it. And security related, so in the list, like we can create a private list, and it's a valid and invalid API key, so valid and invalid API token, and list access to people. So is there any option to give access to specific people on a list? Yeah, so these areas I am yet to explore: transformation, startup shutdown, and multimedia. So I just left it blank. And error handling, so generic HTTP error code, and application based error code if any, and server side field validations for while creating the list, or if you want to save any data to the servers. And interaction, this is yet to be explored. And testability, so we have response code and response message from the server, and we also have a response header which needs to be validated. So I just added to the testability. And in data, so input output, like what are all the input we are giving, so the request query parameters, headers, authorization, and the data is nothing but if there is any raw data we want to post it, so we can include that. And in the output, so response we need to validate response code, response header, cookies, and response messages. And while input, so we need to validate for duplicate data, and like invalid, like special characters, and other regional languages. Yep. And so preset, like so we have URL default headers, which is the content type, and we have API key and token for a specific user. And persistent is API key and token, and then the URL. So it's not an endpoint, so it's just api.trello.com. And yeah, so here we'll be creating a list API, which needs to be called first to do other operations. Say, for example, if you want to get any specific list, or if you want to update any specific list or delete a list, so we need for getting the the actual ID of the list, so we need to create the list first, and then we need to call the other APIs. So on sequence and combination, so orders of any list, so this needs to be explored. So these two sections that is yet to be explored. And yeah, big slash little, so the field validation, so how big, I mean the field validation on while creating the list, so how what kind of field validation is available for sorry, applicable for the list name. And yeah, so when it come to name, like so like invalid name and non-ASCII characters, and like invalid, whatever input we are trying to give, so we are trying to give some invalid and inappropriate characters to it. So life cycle, so if there is any life cycle for the list, yes, so list can be opened and list can be closed when it is done. So that is kind of a life cycle the list follows. And interfaces, so we don't have much uh, information about the interfaces right now, and as well as for the platform, so I just marked this as not applicable. And operations, so user operations, so we have role based privileges, and also based on the user type, so we can create user inside inside an organization, or for a board, and we can also invite members. So invite members is different, like where we can invite a member as an admin, or member, or observer. So these are all three types of user type we have. So environment is not applicable. So common use, so common use is mostly for developers who is trying to integrate their the, if they want to integrate with the any of their uh, third party applications, and they want to create a board and want to manage their task and activities, so they can use this. Yeah, so disfavored, like if any kind of like crap names we can give and try whether those names are accepting. And extreme use, this also yet to be explored. And then time, so when it comes to time, what are the input and output? So like when the list is created or updated, so when the API is called, so and then the server time, which is also sent back as a response header, and the token expiry. And fast slow is yet to be explored. Changing rates, tracking response time, basically, so when there is heavy load in system, so this is not in our scope. And concurrency, so multiple users can access in from a different time zone and from a different location. So how the response, I mean the server times or other time related things are showing in the application. And in quality criteria, the capability, so first is sufficiency, so whether we can perform cut operation on list. And yeah, so that needs to be more explored. And correctness, so for the response data for the requested resource, so whether we are getting a proper response data for which we are requesting. And a robustness, so which is nothing but the response time after running the application for the long time or long period, so which is also not applicable in our case. And error handling on a different use cases, like a response error messages when the searched list is not available, or when we are trying to create a list on a invalid boards and other things. And hit the AP with invalid endpoint or no invalid parameters for a long time. And there are other areas too needs to be explored.
So,
So data integrity.
Deepan, one
Yes,
second.
Ajay.
So, is this entire Excel sheet is for one API or for all APIs?
This is for specifically for list we have created it,
Okay.
Ajay.
Do you
So
have
and
more
we also
APIs?
have, yes. So for individual endpoints, so we have created separate document for it.
Okay, in the interest of time, can we switch to the others and then start from quality criteria for the second API? Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
How
So
many
first,
APIs did you take total?
so I have taken two endpoints.
Okay. And this is okay to create a list and get list on a board.
Yes.
And what is HTSM draft 1.0?
This is so we try to understand what is HTSM and how we can apply the HTSM whatever we explored so far on the API side.
Okay.
So before we proceed with our testing, so we try to gather as much of as information we have.
So this is that. This HTSM
Yes,
sheet is your info about the APIs.
information.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, let's go to individual APIs and yeah, and
Okay.
we'll spend max 5 minutes on one API. When
Sure. The first API what I have taken is create a list on a board. So the purpose of this API is to create a list like basically the Trello consists of multiple boards. And so each board has any number of lists, so we can create multiple lists. Say for example, if you want to track any task like open, in progress, and done, so these three open, in progress, and done will be considered as a list. And each and every task will be considered as a cards in Trello product. So in my case, so I have taken create list on a board, so where the board is already created, and I'm trying to just create a multiple list on the board. So they have their own API, so which I explored, and I have applied HTSM on it. So first category is sufficiency. So where I have I looked into the create list on a board API. So I was trying to understand whether there are available to uh, enough resource available to test this API and understand about the request and response parameters. So yes, that is available. And I took security, and then so I have created a security checklist.
How did you get part of the text and hyperlinked? Is the whole cell hyperlinked or just the part of these?
No, it's a sheet hyperlink. So I just
So the
link
okay.
to the sheet.
Access key valid, invalid. If access key is invalid, do we want to try out access token valid?
No, not required, Ajay. So, so they are only validating key first. So if the key is invalid, so even like in these areas, it's not required.
No, this kind of reminds me of that invalid username correct password scenario.
Yeah, it's kind of it because they have both the access key and access token as their authentication authentication method. So I just want to explore those areas.
Sure. Can we quickly scroll through the HTSM sheet, please?
Yeah.
For this one, no. The for the creator list itself. Yeah,
Okay.
the first sheet. Yeah, please scroll. Keep scrolling. Okay. Yeah, go up. Go up. Okay. Yeah, let's check the bugs, security checklist, and test design sheets, please.
Okay. Sure. So bugs, while testing, I have identified few bugs, and so I have just tracked it. So most of them are related to the claims where they have claimed to accept 16,384 character length as a list name, so which is it was failing to create. So I have raised it, and then other one is like when
Raised.
we have
When you say raised here or to Trello,
yeah, it's raised here.
not to Trello.
No, not yet.
Yeah, I like that answer. Not it. Okay.
And yeah, basic field validation, like having a blank space before, before the string and after the string, so those can be trimmed. And then so list name, so it accepts only a blank space, which is not good, where like a blank list is created.
So did
And
you
list name,
try? Sorry, did you try all of this on the UI?
no, Ajay, so it was only explored from
API.
the API perspective.
So we don't know how it behaves in the UI, the same actions, correct?
Yes.
Okay, got it. Yeah, let's go to security checklist, please.
Sure.
Owner, admin, normal. Oh, what is difference between owner and admin?
Okay. Owner is the one who created the board,
Okay.
and so he can be admin all the ways. Actually, he can only be the admin. So the other users are the users who he is inviting, basically.
So A creates a board. A can invite B and can A make B as an admin?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any permission or any rights that A has as a owner that admin doesn't have?
Um.
No, he wouldn't.
No,
So both
I
has
don't
the
think so.
same. Admin is the highest, correct?
But he
Yes.
can do multiple.
Okay, got it. Yeah, test design, please.
Uh, One question in the previous one, Deepan.
Yeah.
So on the upper table where you have created access token. So what are you verifying here? Is that the status codes?
Yeah. I'm also verifying the status code, but those things not captured here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you test all of this or it is a strategy level? Just
No, no. I have tested everything, Ajay.
okay. You have any reports, results?
Um. No, not kind of. No, Ajay, no.
Okay, fine.
What is a list, Deepan? I know board. Okay, I
Yeah.
know
So
card. So list, is that a status? I mean, one of these things. Or?
So list is okay. So if we take any real time example, like if you want to track any like task, so there can be multiple status, right? So like open,
Pages.
in progress, and done, right? So
Understood.
these three categories are referred to list.
Understood.
List contains cards.
List content.
Yes.
I am surprised why are you not showing Trello? I mean, you need not show, but
It's fine. He did it from API. No? And then why
Yeah,
did
mostly
it was creating list, and what is the other API? Other
get
endpoint?
list on board.
get list.
Acha, okay.
Get all the
So
list that
most,
is there in a specific board, correct?
yes.
Okay. So, did you validate or verify that the stuff that was done in API actually translated to UI?
Yeah, that I have verified as it.
Okay, okay.
Can we see test design?
Yeah. Mostly the data is what I try to test on each fields.
Parameter bodies, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Why is the API not highlighted here?
No, it's
You mean the endpoint as it?
Huh, huh, huh.
no, the document itself is for entire endpoint. No, it's only one endpoint, I think.
Yeah, it's one endpoint.
So it's basically creating lists, and then this is the message body that he used to create. So that's what you're showing, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, please scroll down.
Yeah.
What is invalid position? As a result, what is it? The D13 or D12, D13. Yeah, invalid position. D column, D
Okay.
column. Yeah.
Okay. So this is like we can set the position where to create the list, whether to the first or last actually. So they in their
Acha.
document they claim they will accept two positions. One is top and bottom. So top means the list will be created first, or the bottom is it will
Then
create at the last actually. So I tried with different test data, and so this is the response message I got from the from this for this endpoint.
Can we please see the documentation? I think we can put at any place, not just top and bottom. See, or a positive number. So if you have three lists and if you say two, it will come at the second position.
Okay, so I tried it and I raised a bug on it because the position it's creating a random numbers actually. So sometimes it is decimals too. So I tried to to add multiple numeric values on top of it. So it is trying to create 1.25 and sometimes 3,000, 4,000, and 7,000 like that.
No, it is creating as 3000 means what does it mean? The list is getting created or not created?
It's getting created,
Okay.
but the position
Huh.
in the response they are sending the position.
Okay, okay. But
Yeah.
in on the UI, where is the position?
It's not there in the UI. In the UI, we can just see, from here. So in which position it's there.
Hmm.
so what's happening if you put? See, I'm also thinking that while you create, you send position as a parameter.
Correct.
No.
Hmm.
So if you
Yes.
send to, where is it appearing on the UI?
It's appearing here. Like if we create an API, so I mean the list, so it will show here.
Do you have your Postman collection?
Yes,
Or
yes, I
when did
have.
you do? Yeah. Probably can you do one, because I'm confused. It's not that to see what you tested, but
Okay.
yeah, give three, give two or three, name it differently.
Okay.
Okay, so name it something else. Name it Deepan list, whatever, unique. Yeah. Then
So in the response they're sending us two,
no.
but here,
Can you go to
yeah,
UI?
yeah,
Refresh.
yes.
Okay, it's coming at the top. Why?
Is it RTL character is 1 and then is that no, right?
Mm,
Okay, can you do one more and say
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
3 or something? Yeah. Deepan list 3 and and position 3.
Mm.
Send.
And it should not come at the top. It should be
Okay.
true. Oh, it took.
Okay, so
So
Wow.
I'm suspecting the
Can
RTL
you scroll
character.
to the left? Do you have anything on the left? This is the start, right? Okay. Just scroll back.
yeah, this is the start.
Do you see any issue here, Deepan?
Yes, Ajay, like so the position generated was very random, so I could not get the positions and insert the list properly.
Can you put the documentation link on the chat?
Yeah, sure.
Is 0 a positive number? I'm thinking, is it index wise or just
I
the.
think we can explore later.
Okay, fine. So Deepan, we are good here, and we are almost close to half an hour. So any thoughts? Yeah, we can click get list and quickly skim through the entire
Yeah,
sheet.
yeah,
Okay,
sure.
these are bugs. HTSM similar to the other.
Yeah, it's similar to the
Okay,
other, but the functionality get different.
okay.
So
Test design and security checklist.
security checklist remains same, and test design. So based on the fields and the query parameters, applicable for this API endpoint.
Any. Okay, okay, fine. I'll reserve this question after Anandita and Mahati do it. Okay, sure. Anything that you want to ask us or share? 1 minute.
No, Ajay, not now. Actually, maybe.
Okay, fine. Thank you very much, and hope you will put all of this in a shared folder or somewhere, and then share the access.
Yeah, sure.
Because with the YouTube video, people can also access these sheets. Yeah.
Yeah, sure, Ajay.
Thank
Good
you
job,
very
Deepan.
much.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you.
I liked how you started with intro of HTSM first, and then went into this is what we have done. Explain. You had a specific sheet for HTSM in each of those APIs, so that's it. That itself is good. Like, I mean, if I were to do it, I would do just for that API. But you had like a first. Let me go through the HTSM for in general for APIs, and then come to specific API. That in itself is a decent good work, right? Thank you to Sandeep as well,
Yeah.
and yeah, let's now listen to Mahati Anandita.
Yes, Ajay, I'll just share my screen. Yeah, is my screen visible to all?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes, Madhu, please.
Okay, so we have basically hello everybody and good afternoon. So we have basically tested the Trello API using HTSM and we've devised a test strategy for it. And this was the mission statement that was given to us. So basic introduction about Trello. It's basically a Kanban based board and it was initially created by a company called Fog Creek and later it was acquired by Atlassian. And you can create basically different kinds of boards with different kinds of cards and you can move them across different statuses. And this can be used for a variety of reasons, like according to the context. In software, you can use it for project management purposes, and later for the accounting part, you can use, and also in teaching purposes you can use to create your planner or something like that.
Mahati, can you
So
press F5? Okay,
I'm Anita's presenting.
okay.
Sorry.
Make it full screen.
Full screen, yeah. Make it full screen. The presentation.
Okay. Okay, so it's just.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. Okay, so we can skip overview.
Okay.
Okay.
So we've basically used HTSM, and a brief overview of this was covered by Deepan. But basically, it's developed by James Bach, and it has different focus areas like testing techniques, what are the project elements we are considering, and what are the product elements, and quality criteria as a result of whatever we've used. And yeah, Amrita, just let's go through the mind map.
Yes. So basically, we have created a mind map for all the, I mean, considering all the elements in the provided in the HTSM. So we'll go through it one by one. So considering first is the project environment. So these are like the components that we have considered in our project environments. First, coming to the mission. Uh, yeah, so basically, these are like the customers that mostly use this Trello application that you can see healthcare, retail, financial services, and IT services. Then the basic customer expectation from this is, I mean, so basically, customer is using it for like time tracking, project tracking, resource management, and task collaboration, and all these activities. Then considering this assignment that we have been given, so we have considered these many APIs. So basically, we'll be doing a CRUD operations on the board, CRUD operations on the card, then getting the list of the card and the card life cycle on the entire board. Then coming to the information, so this is the product history. I mean, this was firstly launched on 2011. Then it was later on acquired by Atlassian in 2017. And these are like the I mean. Things that that has been used for developing this application, and these are all are the top competitors available in the market for Trello right now. Since I mean, although Trello is one of the top 10 free project management tool in the market right now, but these all are the competitors available. Then for information, we have I mean, we got the information from Trello API document and the Trello guide available in the internet. Then coming to the test team, we both are involved in this assignment. Then coming to the equipments and tools, for documentation, we have obviously used API documentation. And for the tools, we can use the dev tools for Chrome and Firefox. Then we can use Postman for the API testing and JMeter for the performance kind of testing. And Excel we have used for mostly for the bug logging activity. Then for the test ideas, yeah, so for the test ideas, considering the APIs that you have taken, these are like the list of APIs that we are going to test on, and we will be applying poise test strategy on these many APIs. So we'll be playing with the parameters like path parameters, query parameters. Then we'll be verifying the output, response body, response code. Then interoperability. Basically, I mean, we'll verify the validity of the ID. I mean the uh, ID that is being used in between the APIs. That is called interoperability. Then coming to security, how I mean, what is the how secure is the application, how secure is the API that we can test. Coming to errors, whatever is the errors that is coming up when the API is not giving correct response, that also we can verify in this test strategy. Then for test environment, we can use Chrome and Safari. Then for the testability, we can use all of these APIs independently. We can use I mean combining one or more APIs, or we can use all of the APIs once together. Since this is as you can see, this is a life cycle of the entire card and the entire board, so we can use all of these APIs. So basically, I have created a collection. I'll show that later. So we can, for the testability perspective, we can use these many things. Then coming to the changes, we might have to change these many things. I mean, if in the future it is getting changed, if any path parameter or query parameter is getting updated in the Trello document, we will have to update it. Then currently it is using, I mean, it is being used OAuth 1.0. Maybe they might update it to OAuth 2.0 or something. So we might have to update that as well. So for authentication, right now they have given customer key and customer token, which is unique for all customers. So they might update it in the future. So we will have to update it in our project as well. Then for the testable flows, I mean, we can use like the testing the APIs in isolation, then combining the API and UI tests, and combining one or more APIs at a time. Then coming to product element, yeah.
For the product element part, we've considered structure and function. So, as a part of the structure, going to the code, we have taken the API path parameters and the query parameters, and we validated what were the expected output. As of now, there's no applicable hardware as such. And for the non-executable file part, we've considered the API documentation and the Trello guide, which was available. And as a part of the application, we have validated the adding and updating or getting different boards and cards similarly. And for the calculation part, we have calculated at least the number of cards that were available on the boards, and how we were able to move the cards between different statuses, like from to do to done, and in such a way. And time related.
Whatever.
Yeah, for the time related part, we have scheduled different jobs for the defined for different cards, and we have considered different time zones, and we have scheduled jobs according to them, and we have tracked the time also for these jobs. And the different time related functions we have seen here are how many times a board can be updated, or similarly how many times we could update a card. And
1 second, Madhi. What do you mean by scheduled jobs?
Ajay, there is a job, scheduled job activity that we can do for automatically creating a card, right? So what I have done is I have scheduled a job for that. So it automatically creates one card each for each day at 7:30 p.m. And then I can verify from my API, get card API, that the card has been created successfully or not.
So
I can just get that.
the scheduled job is independent of Trello, correct? Trello is not giving that
I mean-
functionality.
Yeah, it is in there. It is in Trello. So there is an automation kind of thing they have given.
Oh, the butler you're talking.
Yeah.
Can you please show once?
One second.
It is homework first.
ఓకే ఇప్పుడు ఒక మాట్లాడుతూ ఉంటారు. So using
here
butler, right? Okay, got it.
Yeah, here basically I can create as many cards and as many booths. I can schedule a time, and it will automatically get created at that particular time. And then I can in the the tomorrow I can fetch the API, and I can see that it has been created or not.
Got it. Thank you.
For the error handling part, we checked whether the same board was accessible from different devices, and whether we could update a card with different users and on different devices. And we also did certain manipulations with data, giving invalid or wrong parameters. And go to the data part. For the data part, we've checked using the authorization token, the customer key, and we've checked, we have given different path parameters and query parameters, and we validated the response body, response headers and codes. For this, for the persistent part, we created IDs according to the visibility and accessibility. And we checked it using different sequence and combinations available. This was available in the API documentation part, and we created or updated this for maximum number of boards and cards. And for the cardinality, we checked the uniqueness of the cards and boards and the different activities available as a part of the card. And for the life cycle part, we have validated the data. Here we were checking whether we could update or delete data simultaneously, and whether if we deleted a data, was it available until deletion part, and whether we could access the deleted data. So these were some things that we checked. And for the interfaces, basically we considered the user interface and system interface part. For the system interface,
So
we
one
considered
second,
web.
sorry Madhi, sorry. Go up a bit on persistent. So created IDs for functions. Who created ID for which function?
So the IDs that gets created once we hit the API, so there is a card ID or board ID that gets created. So those IDs that you're talking about.
So what did you test there?
So, for example, I have created an ID for a board ID got created, right? Then I have deleted that board, and then again I'm fetching the same board if it is giving me the correct response or not. So it should not. It should give me that the board is no longer visible or no longer accessible. Those kind of things.
Got it.
Basically, uniqueness.
Yes.
Are the IDs unique or they?
It's a foreign key. Yeah. Foreign.
Yeah, continue, Moti. Sorry.
Okay. For the system interface part, we just, although we considered web and mobile, we could just consider web. We covered only limited part for the web and mobile app part, and the user interface part, we just check whether the cards status or the boards were displaying properly after we interacted with them. And then for the operations part, we've taken 3 parameters, which were users, environment, and usage. For the users part, we checked whether different users could access the boards, whether they required certain kinds of permissions, and how could a premium member access those same cards, what was changing for them. So the environment part, we basically checked it for the web and the mobile part. In terms of usage, we have 3 different usages. Common usage is for the CRUD operations part, where we can commonly do actions such as adding, getting, or updating and deleting. And for the extreme usage part, we have checked that whether we could access the same data for multiple times, if one user could access it multiple times, or multiple user could access it multiple times. And the disfavored usage part, we've checked only the data. This we didn't cover much, but we just mentioned it. And yeah, for the
So I think valid question which I had as well, Rahul was asking. So APS, how do you differ? Do we have different APS for web and mobile?
No, we have the
we
same.
have the
APIs.
same ones.
So I mean, because our focus is more on APS, need not necessarily test on both.
Okay. For the time related parameters, we've considered different input-output combinations, and we check the response time or throughput for less users. Suppose there were only single user or a certain set of users, and maximum the peak set of users. Suppose we have considered the maximum number of users as 50. So how would the response time differ? And for the UI-based response also, we validated the similar set of actions, and the changing rates.
Did you design a load test?
So actually, you're talking about the load test, right?
No, the response time and throughput, how did you do?
Yeah, so actually we were trying to do that, but we were facing some issues in JMeter. We couldn't complete the project setup. Project setup is done, but like there are some issues, so we couldn't do that. But we have a plan for doing that.
Okay.
And we validated the response speed with a VPN and with a slow and fast internet connection, and also using mobile data. Then for concurrency, we've considered the user actions and users and the effect it had on different users who were operating at the same time in parallel. Yeah.
Then coming to the quality criteria, we will be covering these many quality criteria.
One observation is that the load or performance throughput measurement that you've done may not belong to time part. Yeah, it's going to be quality criteria maybe.
Okay, got it. So these all are the components basically we'll be considering for verifying the quality criteria. So for capability, we will be using how the board is getting managed, card is getting managed, but UI UX, since it is not a part, but we can verify the UI UX after the API operation has been done on it. Then for reliability, we can check the restore states and the loading state and how secure is the application. Coming to usability, this application is particularly very useful, and it is very easy to learn, and because it has a detailed documentation and the Trello guide and everything is available. Then yeah, and it is like uniqueness of this project is uniqueness of this tool is it is very easy to use, and it serves the purpose of the customers. Then coming to security, as I said mentioned before, it verifies the like users after the email verification has been done. So it provides unique authentication and authorization for each of the user. Then coming to scalability, it has, it can be used for both large scale and small scale projects. Then coming to compatibility, it is accessible in all kinds of browsers and OS. Then for performance, it meets the expectation and it has less redundancy, and parallel user actions can be done simultaneously. Then for installability, like we don't have any such specific system requirements for that. So for configuration, it doesn't need any specific configuration as it is a web application. And for mobile, it takes only 50 MB internal storage, and it doesn't store any cache after the uninstallation. Then for supportability, it is a free tool, so like as many users can access in as many devices. And localizability, so it supports 20 languages as of now. Then for maintainability, they have released a new version in the 2021 Feb. So these all are the components they have already updated in the newer version. So we might have to, if we are working on this project, so we might have to update these things going on.
So
Then coming to
yeah,
the
can we see the usability ones? Sorry.
one second. Yeah.
Is it easy to use? Easy to learn the operations? Okay. So yeah, this is good. I think see usability perspective, but I think one way to look at is not all quality criteria may need not necessarily apply to all kinds of applications, particularly on the API. So Rahul was mentioning
Yeah.
installability. So you need not necessarily install anything over there. It's more of accessing it, right? So
Yeah.
probably we have to look
Which
at
is
it. It's very big. Probably we'll have to look at in detail, but a few of these may or may not necessarily be part of the strategy. When you're doing it at a API level. Yeah, that's one approach. Go ahead.
okay. Okay. Got it.
And
So coming to the
testing techniques, right? Please expand it
yes,
all.
yes.
Please expand all of it at
Let
once,
us
and
see.
yeah,
Put it on the screen.
yeah. Scroll to
Can you
the right.
see my
Scroll
screen?
to yeah. We can see. Please scroll to the right,
Mm-hmm.
or let everything.
Yeah.
Unit integration, performance, load, security, first test. Server should not crash from this unexpected traffic.
Okay, so interoperability, I would probably put more tests like what if this integrates with some other tool which pushes data from there, which should automatically create cards. Okay, think it that way, and whatever it could be, I don't know, maybe it's Zira to Trello or whatever, right? So
Right. We can integrate,
probably we
yes,
could
with
focus on
different
that kind
applications.
of interoperable if it is uh, integration and interoperability.
Yeah.
Any results where you have tried whatever you have tried on the APIs and then you have results?
Yeah, so for, we have tried, so basically we have done a POC kind of thing in Postman. So whichever APIs that we are considering, these are the APIs. And so like I was testing on, adding, updating, deleting, then fetching the same thing, then moving one task to one list from the another, then back to the previous one, then get cards on the first list after moving or before moving. So all these kind of operations that we have done.
So these
And
test ideas, in any form or manner, have you noted in the HTSM document or the mind map?
sorry, I did not get it as well.
So you have tried multiple things here on the APIs.
Yeah.
Did you get those ideas from the HTSM document or it was independent?
No, while doing this operations, I have got the idea.
Okay. So can we say that you could have done this without even doing any of the HTSM activities?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I think they were relating it.
We have to apply this.
They put
Yeah,
product elements and
we are relating it to some point.
Okay, got it. Any bugs that you got?
Yes, we have found few of the bugs.
Okay, there are videos here for the bugs.
Yeah, videos are there. Yeah. So I have, documented it. One second. So like 4 to 5 bugs we have found out as of now. Whatever operations we have done till on the UPS.
Okay, can we see a video of the best bug that you think, this is the best bug? Let's see that video.
Yeah. So the first one is itself because while I'm creating a new card, I have one workspace already created, but it is creating automatically a new workspace for me. I don't know why. So this is already I have one workspace created, but while I'm hitting the create card API, it is all. By default, it is creating a new workspace for me. Yeah, another workspace too. It is creating.
It asks for a name parameter as well. Does it?
Yeah, the card name. The board name I have already given.
Okay.
But I don't know why it is creating it like this.
Did Sheila also participate here, or it was from the testing lab?
It was from previous.
Okay.
Yeah. It was from previous.
Got it. Okay, how many days or hours did you both spend on this?
Every day we used to spend around 2 to 3 hours. The initial challenge was that how the applicability part, we knew HTSM as such, but how to apply was the main thing. So we got a good resource which we mentioned in our references part, which helped us at least to an extent. So yeah.
What's that resource?
So there is a resource
That link which
bug.
HTSM.
Okay.
Okay, so
Second resource, that's a bug.
that's a bug. That's a bug is by.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is brilliant, and what we'll now do is we'll take some time to go through all both Deepan's work and then your work. Please do email or share us the link, and we'll get back to you soon on the Telegram group.
Okay.
Yeah, and
WhatsApp group, it is.
sorry, WhatsApp group. Yeah, okay. Extra bonus points for that bug catch.
He is still testing.
Yeah. Okay, good. Thank you very much, and we loved what we saw.
Yeah, great job.
We could see the effort from both the teams. We'll let you know in detail feedback soon. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Anandita, Mati, Deepan, super.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Ajay. Thank you, Balaj.
Bye bye.
Thanks, Ajay.
Cheers,
Yeah,
bye.
bye.
Thank you, bye bye.